Are we all here and accounted for?
I'm here.
Alright, cool. Well, you guys, DerNami Gaming is back, and it's episode 22, and we're talking about a lot of things. A lot of things, as always. We've titled it Good and Bad and Ugly. We're gonna hopefully maybe stick in those categories, or get off on tangents or whatever. But I am Scorch. I'm joined by Vast Empires and Arcadia Zero, as always. Let's dive right in. Do we want to start with good?
That is how the saying goes.
All right. What do y'all want to lead off with?
Let's do a running base hit with Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes, let's hit it.
Zam.
Space Monkeys Unite.
Go for it. Vast, I think this is your wheelhouse. You can run it up.
Well, just last week, the Beyond Good and Evil team had a really, to me, epic dev stream where they kind of showed their progress in the game and kind of gave us some hints on multiplayer aspects, movement, and combat, as well as some other things. But those are the three things that really stood out to me. And what has me excited is that in the stream they showed footage of like 6 of the smaller crafts around you as you were, they kind of show how you can go from a single player with a jetpack, movement-wise, to a smaller ship, which is inside of a larger ship, which is inside of like a great big freighter ship. And they showed like, huh?
Yeah, like nested traveling scheme.
Yeah.
We like Babushka though. And so, but they had 6 other like small ships with you, and they talked about building your pirate team, and then they mentioned multiplayer. So now it has me wondering, like what is the multiplayer going to look like? Is it going to be cooperative gameplay? Is it going to be like just activities where you and 4 friends go on a pirate raid? So like my speculation senses are tingling, and I want to know what it means.
Well, I believe they said in their stream that one of the things that can happen is that you can link up and cruise around with all of your multiplayer pirate buddies, and this is meaning your real gaming friends, not computer avatars or whatever. That you can hang around in your attack craft and form up in formation and fly around and match speed of the formation, not have to like fly off in and constantly keep track of speed, which is
I imagine
great.
it's something kind of like a party leader would lead, and everyone else just kind of does a formation add up, and wherever the party leader goes, everyone just kind of traverses together until they get out of their crafts.
Yeah, it's kind of like a way cooler version of the Destiny load screen.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah, but we'll save that part. We'll save that part for the ugly or the bad, whichever one.
It could be either.
Yeah. They were also mentioning that they're trying to make Beyond Good and Evil 2 a seamless world without any loading screens. So you can go from single person to attack craft to cruiser to capital ship and back down and through worlds and atmospheres without any loading screens whatsoever. And
That seems
I
kinda
mean,
tricky to pull off.
we've seen that before, but not too good. No Man's Sky, but it exists. It's out there, but we'll see what's gonna go down before we jump on any kind of serious awesome sauce.
Second that.
And we also mentioned the combat system. They showed, not a completely polished version, but they showed their hand-to-hand or combat system within the game, which looked interesting. So I don't know how shootery it's going to be, but there will be swords and cutlasses, and I have a feeling they'd break out like a knife and an axe, kind of piratey type weapons.
Yeah.
Um, so that looks kind of cool. And they also didn't they do a little segment more about the character creator too?
They
I
mentioned that you
think I
can
saw
make your
that
own
one.
character. You're not like pigeonholed into you are the main character, you look like the main character kind of thing. They said that that was a big deal with all of the current Space Monkeys, that idea of freedom of expression and being able to play whoever you want to play, however you want to play. And I think they're really rolling into a heavy character creator, seeing as how the screenshots, or not screenshots, but like concept art that they showed was a panda human with a mohawk and a nipple ring, and a chameleon smoking a cigar with eyes looking in two different directions. So, it's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be cool.
It is going to be cool. They at one point they did show a little bit of how the this is probably one of the earliest, if not the first, dev stream that they did. They've only done maybe this is the third one. It could just be the second. But they did show a little bit about the modeling, the character modeling software that they're using or that they developed to create the characters, and they can go from human to shark.
Yeah,
Huh.
And
I saw that.
yeah, and so
That's
it looks pretty
interesting.
cool.
So it's got like a rapid switch forming technology that it can just know how to integrate the mesh of whatever the thing is.
Well,
And
they kind of they
Like an
kind of
optimizer for shapes.
they kind of anamorphed it. If you want to see,
Ah.
I'm sure you can dig up the live stream out there somewhere. I saw this live stream and the previous live stream on Twitch, so you can go and find their channel and dig up the archive if you really want it. But it's really cool. It's shaping up to be a cool game. I'm sure we're a good year and a half, 2 years out of actually being able to play this thing, but I'm going to give them the time that they need. I'm not going to rush them with any oversight or anything like that.
no, no. I mentioned before that Beyond Good and Evil is not a game that I actually played. I never owned an Xbox, but I did have a really good friend who owned one, and I was, sitting on the couch watching them play. Um, and so it was a great game. And if they can, given the technology of today and the fact that it's much of the same team, and they still have like that creative drive to make this type of game, it makes me really excited because the
Yeah.
original was a good game.
So let's move on a little bit to another sequel that's coming out. Well, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a prequel, but second game coming out in the series of titles, Rage 2.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know why they decided to pick up Rage. Bethesda picked it up. They gave it to id Software, and
Yeah.
id Software is the guys that did the most recent Doom. So if you're interested in what it might look like, go and check out the newest Doom. It looks really cool. I
Blow
never
everything
played
up.
Doom, but it looks cool.
Well, the plot to Doom is kill everything, so
Yeah.
that's pretty straightforward. Gameplay is pretty set. Can anticipate killing and destroying a lot of things in a lot of different ways.
Oh yeah. It seems that Rage 2 is going to follow much the same model. So
Yep.
expect lots of carnage. And did either of y'all play the first Rage?
I did not, but I heard that the only thing they're really taking from the first Rage is a carryover of some of the antagonists, that they will still be present in the second one as
Okay.
an agency trying to like hunt down and kill the people that have these special nanite abilities, and you as the protagonist are one of them, and so you're trying to just like protect your home type thing, while this guy just wants to go slaughter everyone like you, and that's kind of the premise of the game. So
All
he's
right.
trying to kill you, instead you'll kill him, and yeah, I'd imagine it's gonna go a lot like that.
I see.
Well,
I
I
see.
want to back up for just 1 second because you mentioned that it's id Studios.
Uh-huh.
But it's also in partnership, or they're working with another studio. They're working with Avalanche, which is the team that did the most recent Mad Max game, the Fury Road tie-in.
Oh, cool, cool, cool.
And I only bring that up because they showed some of the, like in the new trailers, the release trailers that they showed. Lord, that was terrible. In the reveal trailers, they showed some vehicle like shenanigans,
Mm-hmm.
and I never played the Mad Max game, but again, a friend told me that the vehicle, um, the driving simulating and the vehicle like battles in Mad Max made the game playable.
Yeah,
Huh.
and that was always a big deal in Rage as well. You had a car, and that's how you got through the world. I don't think there was a very large fast travel system, if at all. And one of the things that they really spent a lot of time telling everyone is that the original Rage was not procedural in any way. Every single bit that you saw was work from a developer. Like
Mm.
there wasn't a single like secondary box or anything like that. It was all placed with care, and every bit of it was unique.
Wow.
Yeah.
That nowadays would take a lot of money and time,
Oh yes. I mean,
especially
it
with
was
the
a
size of worlds are nowadays.
it was a beautiful game. I really liked the way they did it, but I didn't have that much time to play it. Unfortunately, it was one of those games that I picked up in college and had to drop because college courses got a little rough. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna go back to it. But I'm gonna play Rage 2. It looks fun. It looks like my kind of anarchy.
I was gonna say it reminds me a lot of Far Cry in terms of look and feel
I'd
from
say the
what little
color,
footage I've
yeah,
read.
the color
And
definitely.
not completely the game style because obviously the protagonist has different skills that don't. It's supernatural as opposed to au natural that Far Cry kind of had.
Yeah.
Um, but that kind of stuff. And
Well, what about the most obvious comparison?
Are you gonna go
And
Borderlands?
I'm gonna go Borderlands
Yeah, this
and
one is gritty
and
Borderlands.
gritty Borderlands, but also the fact that they're totally going to be at E3, but the fact that Gearbox says that they're not bringing Borderlands to E3, you
Oh, they
think?
said that? No,
Yeah, I thought I sent that to you guys.
I
I'm
didn't
pretty
know
sure they're gonna
that.
show
Nope.
up.
That's
I'm
new
pretty
news.
sure
Should
they're
have stuck
gonna.
that in the bad section, but it's too late now.
Well, we know they're working on it. That's all I really care for.
Well, it was kind of. Well, this gets into another topic that we have, but um, there's a really good chance it's going to end up being there.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd love to
I
see
mean,
it.
if it's not, then if we're not, is it Randy Pitchford? Isn't he the?
Yeah, he's the head
He put
honcho of
out a
Gearbox.
he put out, and there's a media statement that said, no, Gearbox or Gearbox will be there showing other games, but they will not be showing um, Borderlands 3. But some information has come out that makes people very skeptical about this.
You think so?
Try to just put everyone down so there's not this crazy buildup of hype behind them so they
Well,
can move at their own pace.
Gearbox is a cool company, and they make good games. But what anybody ever really cares about Gearbox is Borderlands.
Hmm.
So,
Sadly, we saw that with Battleborn.
yeah. So, you can go ahead and bring us Borderlands, or I'm not gonna pay attention all that much. We have other things to pay attention to. Like, all of the stuff Sony's gonna bring, and Death Stranding, and all of that goodness that I absolutely cannot wait for. Oh, it's gonna be so good. And Ghost of Tsushima is gonna be there, and various other things that I've forgotten at this point, but I'm sure one of you has a list.
Mm-hmm.
Eh.
Well, that sounds like a segue to another good.
Yeah, sure.
since we kind of mentioned it, but PlayStation has released some details about their E3 lineup, and it's looking pretty good. If you think back to last year when they were talking about all the games that were coming out this year, they were bringing out God of War, and Capcom had Monster Hunter, and there are other games that I can't think of right now that were equally as amazing. And this year, Sony is going to be showing things from Death Stranding, which you mentioned. Kojima's going to show more internal babies, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost of
Weird.
Tsushima
So
from
weird.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man game from Insomniac is going to get a look because it's finally going to be released.
Soon, right? Is it September? I know it's supposed to be this year.
It's sometime this year. And then
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 from Naughty Dog are the 4 big names that they've mentioned, of course. And that's not counting the actual studios with their release information or any other games that they have that they're just waiting to spring on us.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great. I've heard that they're retooling the way that they're setting up their E3 press conference. And they're going to be doing more focused, deeper dive sessions into the games that they have, rather than blasting viewers with, "This is everything that we have," which is going to be nice because that's been how it has, been going on since PlayStation 4 has decided to dominate the market.
Yeah.
I would really like to see some more specific stuff, and they're going to do it, and that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Also, it makes it a little easier to digest and kind of enjoy what you're looking at instead of while you're sitting there reveling at what you just watched. Then there's another thing, and you just kind of get like bombarded.
Yeah.
Kind of sitting there convulsing on the floor, like. "Arr, arr, arr, arr." So yeah, it makes it a little easier to enjoy E3 in my opinion, rather than just be like, "All right, strap up, here we go," and you're just kind of on this roller coaster, just blazing through all these different cool things that you'll be like, "I'll just look at this all next month because I don't have time right now."
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
about how it
so-
goes.
Make it a little easier to swallow.
But we vaguely mentioned like some of the surprises that they might have might not be that much of a surprise because of the Walmart spoilers.
Oh, yeah. Damn it, Walmart. How come you can't keep your
tell.
damn trap
Do
shut?
tell. I
Well-
heard bits and pieces of this, but not the whole thing.
Rolling back spoilers one game at a time.
So, this is kind of old news at this point. This happened right after our previous podcast. But Walmart Canada accidentally on their webpage leaked a whole bunch of future games as a kind of as a filler on a webpage for games. And they had things like Rage 2, which has been confirmed, and Battlefield 5, which has been confirmed, and
Battlefield 5.
a new Splinter Cell game. Oh yeah, Battlefield 5. We'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Were they calling it Battlefield 2018 though, just for clarity?
No, they're calling it
calling it
actually
Battlefield
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5.
Okay.
Yes. They also had some kind of strange things on their list, like Forza Horizons 5, which is interesting because Forza Horizons 4 doesn't exist.
Does it?
But, I mean,
But
if it
there's some
does,
other-
it's news to me.
But there's some other things on there just before we escape. They also had Dragon Quest 2,
Hmm.
Borderlands 3,
Oh, yes, they did have Borderlands 3.
and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah?
Another Assassin's Creed?
But I think it just said Assassin's Creed, so
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't
yeah, another
specify.
Assassin's Creed. Maybe it's, but who knows what it could be? Is it just an expansion of the current one, or
I honestly
like a
thought those
Unity
things were
type
burned
thing?
out, but apparently I am
No,
wrong.
not really. I mean, the previous
Well, the
Assassin's
last
Creed
one
was
sold
pretty
really
good.
well.
Yeah.
And then they had that really gorgeous, like, history mode version where you can just go in and
Yeah.
travel around ancient Egypt. Pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I really would have liked to just see all of that stuff as it came out. I think it really ruins the punch when
And I'm pretty sure
retailers
the
do
developers
that.
feel the same way. They're like, really, Walmart? Really?
Yeah, seriously? You
Wally
kidding
World
me
strikes again.
right now?
And now we're sharing those low spoilers with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, it's newsworthy.
for
You
a
wouldn't
second.
expect us to like not talk about that, would you? Would you?
Withholding it would just be terrible.
Yes, yes, it would.
No, but on the other hand, it is. I would rather be surprised, but some of these things I don't think are that big of a surprise. Like Splinter Cell, with
Yeah.
the since we played Ghost Recon Wildlands, they had the Splinter Cell event,
Yeah.
and we kind of were speculating, does this mean that Sam Fisher's coming back? Are we going to have a Splinter Cell game?
Mm-hmm.
And it
The
turns out,
equivalent of
yeah.
them giggling in the background like, we put a Splinter Cell in there. Like, okay, guys, you had your fun. We get it. You've got another Splinter Cell coming out.
Yep. And we already knew various things, like the next Battlefield was already in development, and Borderlands 3 was already in development. So none of these are like huge, gigantic shocks or anything. There's not anything on that list that'll like make me, drop my food in the middle of the cafeteria hearing juicy gossip or anything.
Not even Lego DC Villains?
I've never
Not
played.
even Lego DC Villains.
Man, I haven't played a Lego game since like early middle school. It's been so long. Those games just don't really call to me all that well.
Well, you might not be the target audience either.
Probably not. I'm not 4.
Because he's the target audience of Rage
Or
2.
12. You can get those kids a...
Rage 2 and Lego Man are a little
Yeah?
different.
We'll be playing Rage 2.
Okay.
So what's next?
We will be playing Rage 2, especially since it's got co-op. What is next on the list?
We're still in the good, so Nintendo is going to be coming out with their throwback console.
Oh yeah, it's a
That should be
re-release of the
preloaded.
re-release, right? Of the
Yes, it is
And
a
it's gonna be
NES.
preloaded with a lot of games, I believe. I don't even remember that list. The list
Yeah,
is pretty
it's
huge.
30 games. They're coming out with 30 games preloaded onto that thing.
So,
That's
the NES
preloaded. I'm sure that
Classic.
it'll be able to play whatever the other throwback games that you want to play on it.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I would
I-
think.
I
Is
didn't.
it-
I didn't get the last one, but it is the NES Classic, and I believe also the SNES is going to get a re-release too. I don't know if it's at the same time, but
I just pick up.
the
I just
NES
picked up
Classic
her
is going to be
names.
June. Is it June 29th?
Yeah.
Relatively soon.
Yeah.
Not far off.
So get your monies together if you want to
Mhm.
play those old school games on an old school console.
Man, that
a
almost
new
almost
internal
makes me want to like get that NES and get like the breakout cables with a CRT TV and like set up in a wood paneled room,
I think
yeah.
the harder part would be finding a CRT TV.
Oh, I have one sitting in the garage.
Oh, okay. It still works.
It does still work.
Well, la dee da.
Yeah, dude. That thing the problem is that thing is like 95, 100 pounds if I want to move it around. So
You wouldn't be moving it. You'd be going and connecting it in the garage. And playing it in the garage.
probably.
I used to, when I was really, really, really little, I used to have a TV. It was a Magnavox, and it was one of the TVs that had the little like dialers on the channel changer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, like it was old. It was
Yeah, it's
clearly
old
it was very
school.
old. Yeah, but it had a better picture on it than like anything until flat screen started coming.
Because it was
Coming out.
manually tunable.
Mhm.
Like, hold on, let me get that sharpness right.
man.
Right. Perfect.
Twist, twist, twist.
Man, I remember playing the original Ace Combat on my PlayStation. And at the time I had a really, really old TV and it was going out. Like the tubes would not shoot the electrons into my eyeballs the way that it used to. and
Like, I can tell these electrons are curving
and it would
rapidly.
go fuzzy and kind of go white, and I would smack the top of the TV and it would go back to normal, back when things like that used to still work. And
Like ROM
my
cartridges.
yeah, my father got so annoyed with me smacking my TV one day that he's like, "Get in the car. We're getting another TV. Just get in the car." And we went to Best Buy and got a new TV for me to play.
Yes.
Easiest new TV ever. Nowadays, if you did that, your TV would shatter into a
Oh
thousand
my
pieces.
God. Oh,
Not
Say,
built
"Ow,
strong
stop
to
hitting
last
me."
long.
no, definitely not. This 4K dream I'm playing on is my baby right now. I don't think I have anything more expensive than it at this point. I'm not counting my car, but
I'm sure it's beautiful.
it's quite nice.
I mean, I did see some 4Ks in Best Buy, and they looked pretty.
They're getting pretty cheap now. They're getting pretty cheap.
Cheaper.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to the podcast. Should we move on to the bad? Is it time for that yet?
Well, we still had one more good, which was the Monster Hunter movie that's going to be coming out.
Oh yeah.
To be played
Oh,
by
yeah.
the... Gosh, her name. Is it Jovovich?
Mila Jovovich.
Mia.
Mila Jovovich, yes. And that should, I think, be pretty good. I believe she pretty much plays in all the Resident Evil movies, so she's pretty familiar with the whole Monstar thing.
Yeah.
Which
And,
are
these
which
just
is
gonna be a
also
little bigger.
Capcom.
Yeah, it is
So that's
Capcom, isn't it?
It's kind of interesting that they tapped him. Although I think I saw in the article that we were passing around that like the Resident Evil franchise has made over $300 million.
That would make sense. I mean, it's gigantic.
They were alleging that with all the Resident Evils combined, that it was inching towards 1 billion since its
Fuck!
release.
Fuck!
But that's like everything, all of it included.
Wow,
That's
Yeah.
a lot
that is a
It is
lot.
a lot.
for those films.
$1 billion. $1 billion
Yeah,
with
I
a
know.
B.
$1 billion.
Well, I gotta look up the director's name because it is not coming to me right now.
It is Mila Jojovich's husband.
Husband, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you know his last name then. Haha.
He should take her name. All right, Paul Anderson.
Anderson.
Paul
Man.
W.S. Anderson is her
Mr.
current
Anderson.
husband, and he is the director who directed, I think, 3 out of the however many Resident Evil films, and he's going to be the director for the Monster Hunter film. And he is responsible for directing the Mortal Kombat film back in the way, way far time ago.
Combat.
That's
That's a good
But,
song, dude.
it gets you going. But yeah, so they have star power. They have someone who knows how to do video game films. So it looks like we might be seeing a hit.
I mean,
Potentially.
in the sense that Resident Evil movies are hits, I guess. I mean, I only saw what,
Easily
like
entertaining.
1 or 2 of them, or anything. I was never a huge Resident Evil fan to begin with. They never specifically called to me. But
I mean, the
Fast
plot's
and the
pretty
Furious
simple.
movies are
Survive.
still here and around and making buku money. So I'm not really one to judge at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, they exist. This
Yes.
is true.
They do exist. Yeah, so that's all the good. Let's hit the bad.
Bad. What do we want to talk about first? We can talk about the fact that microtransactions are here to stay and loot boxes and all that.
Are they here to stay?
I mean, there's legislation in various European countries and all that, but so
How about the Battlefield 2 canning that EA is slowly walking back to essentially just snuff that game out of existence under the covers and hoping no one notices?
yeah, so Battlefront 2 was
I say field, I think I meant front.
we knew what you meant. So
Okay, sorry.
Battlefront 2 is made by DICE. And their flagship game is Battlefield. And we know that Battlefield 5 is currently getting worked on right now. So we can surmise to a point that a lot of their resources are going towards Battlefield development. And considering the incredible backlash on Battlefront 2, I'm sure their player base never really recovered from that gigantic snafu that they had. It would kind of make sense to allocate more resources to a series of games that will make them more money.
Well, for DICE, Battlefield is a cash cow. It's
Oh
what
yeah,
they do
absolutely.
good.
It's the
They're
thing.
not going to throw that away.
Absolutely.
Yes.
EA or bust. They will not let that slip through their fingers.
But
Mhm.
my point is that Battlefront should be a major cash cow, and two
Oh,
times
yeah.
now, they've shot themselves in the foot. It's easy money. I don't know how many times I need to stress this. Star Wars is easy money.
It really
And I
is.
just mean that there's just so much love. It's a humongous fandom. There's a lot of goodwill and money in it. Like just the nature of the amount of fans. Like it's all ages. There's just so much money in Star Wars. To screw it up
I
is
mean,
mind blowing.
That being said, are either of you interested in seeing Solo?
Kinda.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
I'm a little hesitant about the actor who's going to do it, but
Me too.
I will still go watch it because Chewie in his prime should be good.
Yeah, man.
Well, I say prime. I remember in one of the trailers, he's like, "You're 140 years old."
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever that's worth. Should be good. I don't know
Yeah.
about great, but I'll go with good based on the trailers.
It'll be enjoyable.
Yeah. I hope so. In the same way that the Marvel movies are enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Since
Well,
it seems
I'm a
like
little
that's the way that
Higher
they're.
on the enjoyo-meter for the Marvel movies, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
What? But what the fuck were we talking about? Battlefront
We were
2?
talking about Battlefront 2 as a bad is being shuttered.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, from the various leaks on the subreddits, people are still reporting bugs, and all they're getting now is boilerplate responses of, "Yeah, we'll look into that," but with no timeline as to when they're going to do it, or what's going to be fixed, what time things are intended to be fixed. So at this point, it can pretty much be assumed that all things Battlefront 2 are being swept under the rug so they can actually focus on Battlefield and all other development things.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not mad. I'm not mad by that.
Nope. Not at all.
Unless, and they haven't really talked all that much about Battlefield 5 yet, other than just today them announcing that yes, Battlefield 5 is in the works and it is called Battlefield 5. Hey, Danny.
Oh, and before I forget, they are going to do a reveal stream for Battlefield 5 on the 23rd. So put that on your calendars.
Okay. The only way I would be pissed about them moving resources away from Battlefront 2 to Battlefield 5 is if Battlefield 5 took place in World War II. I do not give a shit about a World War II game. Okay? You
they've
did
already
World War
done it
One,
several
and it was
times.
fun. World War II is old. I don't want to deal with it anymore, all right? We already have this generation that won't fucking die and keeps going on and on and on about it. We don't need it anymore. Go away. I don't want another game. No. How many Call of Duties have we had? How many Medal of Honors have we had? How many
few.
Battlefields have we had? It's done. It's tired. I don't want it anymore. Give me a Bad
Yeah.
Company. Give me, 2142. Give me something like that.
I will say that I almost wish that Battlefield could sort of take an edge that the latest Call of Duty went, which is a slightly more futuristic timeline plot, which leads to a lot of unique and new weapon types and things and diversity of gameplay. I don't know, to me it just feels a little more flexible, and since they haven't done a future-based game, it could be a nice breath of fresh air. and the vehicles that they could use with that
Oh
kind
my
of
goodness,
scenario
yes.
could be out of this world insane to make the entire gameplay dynamic just as ludicrous as Battlefields have always been at
I
their
hear
peak.
it, Vast. I saw it. You can't escape. I watched it.
That's because I'm the most badass thing on the field today. But mostly it was asking me for your number. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, you're going to have to ask Scorch about that. I don't like to give my friends numbers to flying scary monsters.
I see. I see. How generous of you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Nothing but generosity here. But yeah, I think that a slightly futuristic one couldn't hurt. And heck, if they just decided to go modern again, sure,
Yeah.
why not?
I
But
wouldn't
think
mind
a
picking up my
future
M16
flare-
again.
Yeah, a future flare I think would be good. If they want to go crazy future flare, I would even be accepting of that because it's at least in the polar opposite direction that everyone else has currently been making games like that for.
Yeah?
So are we believing the rumors? Because the rumors are that they are going to do World War II.
Yeah, pretty sure
because
they'll
they-
probably do World War II.
Because they mentioned that there's going to be a single player campaign similar to what we had in the Battlefield 1 with the story mode vignettes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that, to be honest. It's
I do too.
It kind of travels around different viewpoints. You can kind of
played as
create
a
a more
bird.
contrasting.
You did play as a bird.
You did play as a pigeon for a stint there. You are correct.
You just don't see that every day. I'm still
This is true.
impressed.
I think they are the first pigeon protagonist inducing developers.
But
Oh, man.
and they mentioned the multiplayer mode, which is the core of the game, and of course they mentioned a new innovative mode.
Oh, you mean Battle Royale? It's Battle Royale, guys.
Yeah. Are you sure it's not just new and innovative? You sure?
No, it's
just
Battle Royale. They're going to put 64 people on a map that's all 1v1, v1, 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 etc.
That's just gonna be
Ad nauseam.
friggin' stupid. And only because it's Battlefield. The first dude to sprint to a tank wins. Done.
I mean,
End of
unless
story.
everybody spawns as like engineers and supports, then
Like,
yeah.
if that's the case, then what will happen is that when Battle Royale starts, within the first 40 seconds, all vehicles are gone.
Yeah? I mean, it's a definite possibility.
D4, RPG, friggin' cruise missiles, I don't even know what. Just everything that can destroy a vehicle. Or it'll be the polar opposite, and everyone who is not in a vehicle within the first 20 seconds gets turned into vapor.
Yeah?
Or what if they do like the squad base? Like if it I forget how many different class types there are, but
4. Now, even in the
There's a-
normal 64 big parties, you did have squads of, I think it was 5 or 4.
For
Like
Battlefield
actual
1,
squads.
for Battlefield
Functional
1, you could
squads.
run a squad of 5.
Yeah, so you could have varying groups of squads. I think
Yeah.
they might do that one. That one would sound more plausible.
And
'Cause they already have a squad system for it, and simply partying them up for that game type would actually, I think, be kind of easy for them.
they have always run squad deathmatch as well.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to do that, you could absolutely do that. Should we press go yet?
Probably entirely possible.
Do we need
But
to press
again,
go?
we're pretty much going to be looking at probably a World War II theme, which
Yeah.
yawn kind of.
I gotta say, if they do that, it's gonna have to be a damn good game for me to buy it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
bold
like-
words.
I've got other things. I've got better things to do. You know?
Bold
I
words from
would-
the
and-
Battlefield fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to second it because the fact
press
that we
go.
just went through an entire it looks like it. We already went through an entire Battlefield 1, World War 1. To do a World War 2, sure, it's an advancement in the timeline, but most of the weapons are for goodness sakes, every first-person shooter can list all the World War II weapons practically.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
There's already been so many games that have done it. So you're not going to bring anything new to the table. So the only thing you have to go off of will be new maps and new game modes. And if you're not awesome with those, your game's probably going to stagnate relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Mm. What if they did What if they did like the Western Front or something like that? Not the
We're
Western
gonna.
Front, the Pacific Front. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I, I
I'm
don't
just
think
I'm
that would
just
make a
speculating here.
difference. I mean,
Okay.
I'd imagine they'll still have some good vehicle style battles because that's Battlefield. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But
Smasher.
I don't know. To me, it just seems like a light reskinning of Battlefield 1
Gotcha.
because of how close it is in the timeline. Now, obviously, like I said, they could come up with different game modes and stuff, but it could still be a lot of fun. I don't doubt that if I bought it, I would have tons of fun the first bit that I played it, but I don't think it's going to have the same replayable value in terms of longevity in the multiplayer that the previous ones have had.
Yeah.
Simply because, like what Scorch just said, World War II, we're still stuck here. Okay, when do we get to get out?
Okay.
Yeah, and we're
in
gonna
a
have
history
to.
rut with regards to Battlefield.
We're gonna have to then wait an entirely different DICE development cycle to get anything new, and that takes a
Yeah.
while, you know.
Couple years,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be in like PS5 territory then.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that I probably wouldn't upgrade to a Pro. I'd probably just wait for the new console to come out because it's probably going to only be a year or so before it comes out.
Well, they're looking at
I think
about
we're all thinking
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
They say that, but you never know. Also, I heard a heavy. Where is he?
I got him.
Okay.
But yeah, so well that's some bad. What else is on the bad list?
I think the rest is ugly.
Uh-oh. Well, let's go in on the ugly.
Oh man, if I.
jump.
Oh, we're leading off with that one, huh?
Oh yeah, we're going ugly. We're going full ugly.
All right. So, Warmind came out, and people are mad about Warmind. Shocker, I know. It's wow. Who could have predicted that? Oh my God.
And I think it was, oh yeah, they took the last, I think it was 2 missions of the campaign and turned them into strikes or multiplayer sessions.
Yep.
And with a slight twist to it, and everyone was like, really? You
Yeah.
just recycled the end of a campaign that I just finished.
The only thing
And,
that they said was unique about any of the DLC that they put out was the strike that was unique to PlayStation.
Yes.
Yes.
The exclusive PlayStation strike is
Yeah.
the only thing they can claim for uniqueness, which is pretty low.
And I imagine since it's Destiny, it's a timed exclusive, which means Xbox is going to get it pretty soon. So who the hell cares?
Yeah.
I feel like I heard that the NPC that they introduced was a good NPC
They were
when
talking.
compared to something Bray.
I heard no mention of that. I would think that that's its only redeeming quality, and I would have heard that in any of the videos and blogs that I read, but I don't think I even read that. So if there was one that was slightly better, being slightly better at Destiny's current standing would still be considered bad.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just trying to help them
Probably
out,
why.
guys.
And remember, we're in the ugly section. We're not in the good section. Don't try and drag this through the sections. It's in the ugly. It's ugly. It is morbidly, horribly, disfiguringly ugly.
Disfiguringly. Wow.
Well, I just feel like it has been so long since I've played Destiny, but the complaints are still the same. The
Yeah.
dev
Still
capabilities are still the same. The fixes are still the same. And one of the major
played the new
gripes,
Destiny.
yeah, well, but the gripes and the things that people enjoy about the most recent updates to the game are that they've taken it backwards, back towards vanilla Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in order
That
to
is
make it
actually one of
better
the
and
gripes.
more appeasing, they went backwards. And which
There
is
is
just
rumor now that they went backwards on purpose and basically threw Destiny 2 away in an effort to give them extra buffer time for the third Destiny that they're already contractually obligated to make anyways. So rather than make another steaming pile of garbage, they'll kind of make just a slightly moldy pile of garbage. So they're seems like they're putting all their final pieces in the last Destiny 3, and they're like, well, we have to do this, so why don't we just, get ahead of it now and not just forego everything right now. Like, yes,
Yeah.
it sucks, the devs have come out, or some of the devs have come out and straight up apologized for it, and at this point they're being held at Activision's mercy. So
Yeah, it's sad. So,
hmm
Danny in our chat says, "What happened with Bungie? Everything I used to hear was that they were amazing." Well,
Same,
yeah,
girl, same.
back when they
they
were
they
at
were
their roots
good.
with Halo, it was good,
Yeah.
but they split off and they took this game and they tanked it. And 343 took Halo and tanked it. They just destroyed a good thing is the problem.
Yeah. I mean, about the only thing that we have to hope for at this point, getting back into good sci-fi, would be Anthem.
Ugh,
And, uh,
breaths are held.
yeah. So, Anthem, they're in a bit of the news. Also, the metal guy is over here and lots of lobbers.
Okay,
Coming.
coming.
Um, so Anthem has been in the news. What with the people? I think the head of BioWare is saying that do not worry, Anthem will have a single player, and we are dedicated to a story. It's a world where you can enjoy it just fine on your own, but is more fulfilled with other
Friends.
people in it, with friends. And
Good.
that's, I mean, that's cool and all, but that's what they said about Destiny.
Yeah.
I'm,
I sense the worry. I
yeah,
sense it. And it's valid.
I, I, this is me as someone who wasn't all that impressed with her first experience with Mass Effect, but I feel like I trust BioWare more with that um, than I do if Bungie came out and told me that.
boss is down here.
Noted. Well, Bungie at this point, like almost everyone who has a stream about them has mentioned, has lost their own credibility.
Yeah,
With a combination of not being genuine to fans, sometimes lying to the fans, and saying, oh, everything's fine, and really everything is not fine.
yeah. I mean, they can build their credibility back. It's not like it's over forever, but it's not going to be
Like
in
anything.
Destiny.
Like lost trust, it can be
Yeah.
built back, but yeah, like you said,
It's going to
not
take a
gonna
long
be
time.
right
It's not
now.
going to be in Destiny.
Ooh, the Taker's looking for one of you two.
Yeah, I'm already
Yep,
shooting
he
him.
is.
Don't worry.
I think so. Here's the thing: am I naive in thinking that if they actually had a, I don't know if it's like a management thing, is it like a not meeting, but what, like a stronger dev,
Like, where did it go wrong, kind
yeah,
of
where did
thing?
it go wrong? Because
I think a
clearly-
lot of it has to do with the fact that they maybe preemptively got themselves in a contract with Activision that was a little too limiting, because Activision kind of dictates what they can and cannot do, rather than a contract that gives them more freedom to develop the project as things progress and things move forward. That might be one
Yeah, I can see that.
overarching possibility. The other one would be the fact that there's internal strife within Bungie, which had to do with way back in Destiny 1 when we figured out that the writers had basically been, boxed out of their own game that they helped write for. So Destiny's kind of been plagued with internal strife from before day one.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking about what you just said, or when you kind of gave the history about what happened when Bungie split in 343, and it almost sounds
Yeah.
like the best halves of their game making got split too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And they didn't
absolutely.
replace
If you
those
take
things.
anything that's working fantastic and parse it, it is not going to be the same thing because you just parsed it. It could be almost the same thing, maybe just as good, or one of them just as good. But having both of them be, surefire things, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, we played Halo 4, right? It was an acceptable Halo 4.
was pretty good, but
You know?
it just got all progressively worse. I will say Halo 4 was fun, but maybe story-wise not as good as
Yeah.
Halo 3. But since then, it just kind of went down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
really down.
man.
Anyways, done
Oh.
hating on that.
Ow.
Yep. Yep.
Next ugly would be No Man's Sky is getting a multiplayer that nobody plays anymore. Yay!
Well, it's
Well,
speculation that they're getting a
Speculated to
multiplayer.
possibly have an update that's like their 540,000th patch into 2 years after the game was released. Yay!
Well, I'll give them
And
this.
that's the big thing.
Yeah, I'll give them this. They have stuck to their game and they've progressively made it better. I'm not going to go back for it. They've already ruined it.
I
With-
think
with
they
me.
stuck to their game because if they didn't, none of them would get jobs for the rest of their life. Like, oh yeah, it'd be pretty bad.
But so, like, moving on to the actual topic at hand, there's been some Xbox concept box art coming out for No Man's Sky since it's going to make the transition to Xbox now. Whoever's going to buy it on that console, I have no idea. But the box art features 4 characters that seem oddly like they are like players standing in the same world, in the same space. And
Session.
yeah, in the same session. And this has sparked all kinds of speculation about how big the co-op is going to be and if it's going to be in the next patch or if it's going to ship with the Xbox version or whether or not these are any characters at all or whether or not these are just like box art. If this is just box art, you know.
Yep.
Hmm.
And
Something
I'm
better.
optimistic. I don't know if I'm going to go back and play it. I can't imagine that I'll be able to drag these 2 back and play it.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Mhm.
see? So, yeah, it's already kind of ruined for us. I think they've done as much damage control as they're able to do, and they're just trying to live up to their original first, like,
Disaster.
yeah, like, they're,
I know
guys,
it's a salty topic.
I know, it
Salty
hurts.
topic.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's why it's in the ugly section. It's real ugly.
yeah,
It is real ugly.
yeah.
I mean, but you know what? They could completely knock it out the park, and it'll be
You know what?
a
But see, here's
worthy
the part that makes me feel
four-player.
bad for them. At this
Okay.
point, they could now have patched it together to the point where it's an actual full legitimate game, but everyone is so disenfranchised with it now that they don't care. So
Yeah.
all the sweat and tears that they've done to recoup and put in what they were supposed to and add a little extra as an apology is literally going to come across deaf ears. And some people will play it and be like, oh yeah, it's not bad now. You know, they might tell their friends, hey guys, No Man's Sky's actually good now. And the normal reaction will be, and then the conversation will kind of end.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I'm still surprised I'm still friends with you guys because I purchased that
What?
game.
I bought it
On-
too.
I know. I know. And
We all-
against my better judgment.
shared
I think
deal.
I think we all bought into the hype. Okay, you can't just
Yeah,
blame me,
yeah.
Vast, please.
No, no. I'm just gonna go ahead and blame you. I went against my better judgment. I have led us down the wrong path as well. You know, I really urged us to get Secret of Mana, and then there's not the multiplayer option. I don't know how I missed that.
Womp.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's
we
couch
are all at
co-op.
fault. There is couch co-op. But yeah, I want to place that one on your shoulders. I don't mind doing it either.
Fine, I can take it. Fine.
You have considerably broad shoulders. It's okay.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, what else is on the ugly list?
So we have Boss
I
Key
feel like we
shutting
need to-
down.
Yeah, I think that's the
yeah.
last bit of ugly.
Then we can move on to whatever else we want to talk about. But Boss Key,
Boss Key made Lawbreakers, was not a hit.
yeah,
Pretty much nothing else to say.
yeah. They attempted a Hail Mary pass at the end with a battle royale game called Radical Heights that people have said was nice, but it was just too little too late. and
Yeah,
Boss
yeah.
Key has shut down, which is very
And now
sad. I feel
the
kind of bad for Cliffy B. He put all of his eggs in this basket. He worked by
that is the
himself
risk.
on this game and this studio for years before it came out, and it was just And that's what just about the entire world said to his game. And these people are out of jobs now, and Cliffy B's
Mm-hmm.
reputation has been busted. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is a guy coming from the head of Epic Games. He put Gears of War on the map. This is a
Yeah.
guy that has some serious gamer clout, and it didn't work out.
And sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I hate to say it like that, but sometimes you go out there, you live your truth, and turns out no one wants to play that game.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Your truth is
already
not as appealing to everyone else.
it was already kind of a flooded market. We had Battleborn kind of do the same thing. We had Overwatch killing it,
Yeah,
and
utterly
they
killing it.
decided they, yeah, the people have
Killing it
spoken,
so
I
hard, in
suppose.
fact, that as a side note, I believe they're doing a short-term mercy skin for cancer awareness, and they're
Yes.
providing a skin that is purchasable with real money, only the catch is that the real money goes towards the cancer research nonprofit.
Well, that's
So that's
cool.
actually a very interesting twist to the loot system, or the
So
microtransaction system, and
so
everyone is perfectly okay with this.
Well,
well,
yeah.
because all of the proceeds are going to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and Blizzard is, I want to say they're going to match 100% of the
Ooh.
um.
Dang.
Well,
Look,
Overwatch has made
look,
enough money; they can do that. They don't have to care.
look.
That's
Like
pretty
I say, I
true.
want to say, but it's been a while since I've read that that press release or something like that. And on top of all of that, um, there have been streamers. They had like six or so official streamers who were also raising money for charity during that time period. And as you watch them, you could gain like free sprays that featured like
Huh.
art, and they were also selling a T-shirt that was the
Oh
design
yeah,
was
the
done by a
Mercy
fan
T-shirt.
creator. Like a
Cool.
fan creator, and I'm sure she got a certain amount of profit from it, but the rest of the profits are going towards the breast cancer research as well. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal. I purchased it. It was only $15, and I had the funds.
Hey, it's well worth it.
And on top of all of that, not only is it for a good cause, it's actually a freaking cool skin, and they did a
It
lot
was
of
pretty
little
snazzy
things
looking,
to make it
considering
unique.
it's Mercy.
Yeah, well, they also like added a whole bunch of different sound effects to it, and some graphical changes. It's actually really cool. So
Sweet. Well, I'm glad
great
that
job,
they're
Blizzard.
doing something for other people's benefit rather than just them.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to see that kind of thing.
Mhm. Mhm. Agreed.
Oh,
Fully agreed. Well, that was kind of a slice of good in the bad, and since we kind of came out of the ugly with that good, the last good thing that we might be able to talk about, depending on how much time we have, would be the mention of Google Fuchsia.
oh yeah! Man, that's weird. Oh. So, I guess I'll lead off on it, seeing as how no one.
Please
So, Google
go ahead.
Fuchsia. It was kind of a rumor for a little while. It was an internal project that Google has been working on for a small portion of time. It essentially is a hybrid OS that uses Android framework and Google Chrome together,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they, from what I understand, it's an attempt to make a universal Google and Android together system that will kind of unite the camps, I guess, if you wanted to say it like that. And
It
So
it's
might
an
they're
not.
making
interesting
like a
idea.
universal OS, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Um,
kind of like a Chromebook, is built for Chrome and for Google stuff. They would have something similar to a Chromebook, but it would be also for Android stuff. So like Android, Google, anything.
yes, they're combining Android and Chrome to basically turn it into a cross-compatible entity with multiple devices, and it's been said that they're basically using the Windows 10 queues of scaling, like that Microsoft has already accomplished, and a lot of the kernels apparently that for the techies out there that um, Microsoft uses, Google is essentially using as their starting point or their springboard to continue to develop it. And beyond it being sort of rumor, it's serious enough that in February of 2018, it was revealed that Google's former head of Android platform security, Nick Krelovich, had left the Android team to, quote, define security over in the Fuchsia department. That
Oh
was
Oh.
dang! I didn't
so
know it
it's
was
serious
that
enough that they
like.
pulled a head, expert of the Android division into Fuchsia. So they're serious about it, and I would assume, because they've done that, and they're serious about the security, they're serious about this being a product that launches within the next couple years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Because
would
first and
either of
foremost,
you actually
security is
use
kind
it?
of the bug nowadays. I think it's going to be one of those things that it'll just get integrated into the phone, because the only Android Google device that I use would probably just be my smartphone. So that's the only thing they would probably
Yeah.
have, so it wouldn't have a huge, tremendous impact since I'm PC based.
Mhm.
It might be able to expand a little into the autos. I was looking at upgrading my GUI in my vehicle to have Android Auto, but I might wait if they're going to come out with Fuchsia and make sure that whatever I upgrade to is compatible with it, because it might actually obsolete some of the Android stuff since it's going to be its own operating system slash communication platform.
Mhm.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if it has that possibility or not. If it's going to be like the Windows-based kernels, then that would imply that it's going to have a backwards compatibility with all existing apps and Android devices. So it might be okay and be perfectly acceptable to just get it and move on.
They did say that this was going to be free, kind of like Chrome,
Yes.
and it would be built into things like Android OS.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope Google is prepared to make even more money.
Hand
Probably.
over fist.
They're gonna make
I
so
think they've
much
been
money with
preparing.
this.
They've been
Well,
preparing to make money for a while now. I think this is gonna work.
but the fact that they can now do it on any physical device platform gives not only the consumers the ability to choose whatever device that they prefer, but everyone gets to use one universal system that they don't have to learn how to use each system to communicate. Because Google announced they want it to be so seamless that if you were doing something on your phone and you clicked it off and you immediately opened your laptop, everything you're looking at would literally be the frozen state it was in on your phone, like
Yeah.
100% seamless. So
Which would be
that
really
I can
cool.
see that being an incredible amount of brownie points for the user interface, and finally give Apple a run for their money. But there will always be those Apple people that are diehard Apple
Oh yeah,
forever.
absolutely.
But for the people that are on the fence, I can definitely see them getting off the fence and be like, hey, I
Yeah.
don't have to deal with anything Apple and weird like that, and I can be in the open PC realm with open source and actually enjoy all my technology talking and communicating to one another.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep. So that's our bit of tech news. I think that's actually pretty cool and a good. How much closer this brings Google to Skynet territory? I don't know yet. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, side note, Google was developing an AI project for the U.S. government, and
Is that Project
I forgot-
Maven? Is that what I was talking about, or was
I'm
listening
not
about?
sure if that's the name of the project, but I know one of the head developers of that project quit on the moral grounds of how the AI was developing in the project.
Yeah,
That's
they
all they
said
said.
that some project heads, I think they came out today, that project heads
It was
were
very recent.
abandoning Google because of this
Yes.
project. They did not
Yes.
like the way it was shaping up.
Yes. Which has people in the conspiracy theorists revved up to maximum as to what that implies. If they
Yeah.
were going to be doing amoral decision making with their AI, or if it was developing just so poorly that it was not going to accomplish the original goals that they set out to do. But again, it's Google and the military combined in the same conversation, so you can only speculate as to what that problem might have been.
Yep. All right. Well, maybe they're a little bit closer to Skynet territory than I would like to have admit.
Which is why they might have felt very uncomfortable.
Well, they did just recently say, was it Google that they were going to say that they were going to notify people when they were talking to an AI computer because people
Yeah,
were.
because nowadays with the telemarketers and some of the privacy laws and I think some of that has to do with the European Union specifying some of that, but they did come out and blanket say that when they are experimenting with their AI technology in the future, that consumers will not be misled into believing they are speaking to an actual individual.
Yeah. But the
Because
fact.
I think there's some clauses of mislead advertisements that kind of fall into that. If you're thinking you're speaking to a person for legal liability reasons, but you're actually not, it's an automated canned message that just sounds like a person.
Yeah.
I think that's where they got a little dicey. So they're like, okay, we'll just make sure that you know and everyone knows when you're talking to a person or a robot to keep themselves out of the legal fire, which I commend them for. Kudos.
Yeah.
No one likes the legal hot seat.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, do we have any more news?
I'm all newsed out. That's about all the relevant news I got.
Yeah. I think I've said everything I wanted to say.
All right.
Well, all right. That
Well,
brings
folks,
an
thanks for
end to
listening.
episode 22.
22.
Thanks for listening. Here, there, wherever you are. Those aren't the
Everywhere.
right lyrics. Ooh,
Near, far, wherever you are.
there we go. Celine
If
Dion.
you, if you wanna spend more time with us, don't forget to join us on Twitter, YouTube, and on Twitch with
Mhm.
DerNami Gaming. We are around. We stream. Sometimes we talk to strangers. And we'd like
Believe that? We
to.
might even type if things get real good.
I know.
I think they're real good, and we'd like to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for watching. We'll be back whenever we have enough information. Bye.